Okay, this video is going to summarize the steps involved in synchronizing your throttle bodies. The Hayabusa manual suggests doing this every 12,000 miles. It'll make for a smoother running and a smoother idling engine. Follow the manual instructions on how to hook up your synchronizer. And your first thing you're going to do once you've got it hooked up is with this screw here, you're going to synchronize throttle bodies 1 and 2, and then you're going to go over here and synchronize throttle bodies 3 and 4, and then lastly you'll synchronize the two sides with this middle screw here. As you can see, you've got to remove the airbox, and also you've got to remove the air temperature sensor, which fits in the airbox on the underneath side of the airbox. It's on the left side of the airbox. You've got to disconnect that and plug it into the connector here. Otherwise, the engine won't run properly. So we're going to move this bike outdoors here and start it up and synchronize those throttle bodies. We'll be back in a minute. To do this job, you need a throttle body or carburetor synchronizer. I bought the CarbTune Pro. I'm sure there are other good brands. There are hoses that connect to the throttle bodies. We'll show you this in a minute when it's all hooked up, but you'll need to purchase a synchronizer. That air temperature sensor I showed you screws right into here on the underside of the airbox. So you just put a wrench on it and unscrew it, and then, as I said, just connect it to the wire and set it on the frame of the bike, and then you're ready to synchronize the throttle bodies. Back in a minute. Okay, the next step is to, on the number 1 throttle body, remove the vacuum hose that is the right of the two hoses. Remove it and connect the synchronization line from your throttle body synchronizer tool to that right hand nipple. And then on throttle body number 2, remove the vacuum line and connect the connection for the number 2 from your synchronizer. And for number 3, disconnect that line and connect it. And then on number 4, disconnect the right hand vacuum line and connect the connection for number 4. So the next step will be to start the engine and see how these do. You can hang the throttle body vacuum gauge from your mirror, your left hand side, for example, and you'll be able to see it okay. So we'll start the engine up here and see how things look. Okay, you want to get your throttle bodies adjusted so that the 4 of them are relatively even. The absolute readings are not important. What you want is relative to each other. So adjust the number 1 and 2 first, and then adjust 3 and 4, and then with the middle screw adjust the left side and the right side. In other words, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's it. From here, we just reinstall the airbox and connect all hoses and electrical connectors, and then you're done. When synchronizing the throttle bodies, I found that I had to disconnect the wire connection to the intake air pressure sensor, which is on the back side of the airbox. This is an upside down view of it, but disconnect the wire that goes to that, the plug that goes to it. When I didn't do that, the engine wouldn't run properly. One final thought: those vacuum lines can be very hard to remove from the throttle bodies, so you might consider buying a couple of feet of vacuum hose and just cutting off the old vacuum lines and then cutting yourself new pieces to install. It would save a lot of aggravation. I think the heat makes them stick. They're very, very hard to remove. That concludes synchronizing your throttle bodies. You should have a nice smooth idling, smooth running engine after this. Good luck.